Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Irish Country Life here in the west coast of Ireland on this beautiful, glorious, sunshiny day, considering we had lashing rain this morning. My name is Nikolai, and together with Scooter, who's doing the filming, or should I say Chris, who's doing the filming, and Scooter, who's here beside me. Today we're going to give you a little tour of the Courtyard garden, and after that we're going to be making some delicious banoffee pie deconstructed. So basically, I've had some friends who've rang me up and said they're coming round for lunch, and I don't have time to go to the supermarket, so I'm going to throw together a deconstructed banoffee pie as they're the ingredients I have in the store cupboard. It's very simple and a delicious dessert actually, and we'll put it together in no time in some lovely cocktail glasses. So I'll get on with doing the tour here in the courtyard. Okay, so in this half whiskey barrel, this is where I planted the Tetrapanix pup that I was given by my friend Anne. And you can see this leaf here is not doing so well. It's kind of dying off, but that was to be expected. But we have got a new leaf coming through here, and we've got another new one here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that should do very well. In the borders here, we've got some lovely white astilbe, we've got some ligularia spike, and we've got some Petrusky ligularia. And this rose bush is for your eyes only. And it's got the most beautiful pale pink petal with like almost dashes of dark purple burgundy going through it. And it's really lovely, and it's about to flower. It should flower within the next few days. In this pot we have the Acer Katsura, which it did get a little bit of a late frost, and so some of the leaves got a little bit burnt, but we're taking those off, and it's coming back quite healthy now. So it's looking rather well. Next to that, we've got the Fatsia japonica. When I planted this a few years ago, I really didn't think this was enjoying where it was, because the roof comes down with no guttering. All the water runs down into this bed, so it's a very wet bed. And I didn't think the Japonica Fatsia liked that. So it kind of struggled for a little while, but I ignored it. And now all of a sudden it's just shot up into the sky, and it's looking pretty healthy. And it seems to be enjoying its place here in the courtyard. And so I've got a little bit of bread here on the table because I have a very cheeky robin that when I come and sit down here, he'll fly in through the back door into the kitchen looking for food. And the other day I had some guests around and we served afternoon tea out here in the courtyard, and we had scones, and he came along and he actually stole half of one of the scones. Cheeky brat. But anyway, we've left some bread here for him, and he keeps zooming in and out to take some of the bread whenever he fancies it. Also in this bed, we've got a lovely rogacea, which the flower on the rogacea comes out like a big plume, and it's almost like, if you can imagine, a stick of candy floss, and that lovely pale pink when it flowers. And here's the flower coming. And I love the leaf because architecturally it's got a lovely big leaf. Another project before we do the open garden is the chimney needs to be painted in a heat-resistant black paint, so we're going to get round to doing that. And then over here we've got some lovely monkshood. We've got our hostas, which some of them have been terribly badly eaten because we've had such a wet summer so far, but there's nothing we can do about that unless we physically come out and remove the slugs and snails, and I can't kill them. Sorry, I throw them into the field and people laugh at me and say, but they will come back. I know they will, and they have done. In this wall here, the stone wall, I threw some seeds, some wild poppy seeds, not thinking anything would happen, and there's the cheeky robin. He's coming back for more bread. And so I threw the seeds, and over the years we've had some of the poppies come, and then we've also had a new orange poppy come this year. And so hopefully the wall will get quite a few. They've also seeded themselves across the wall in the kitchen garden. Here in this container I have a tree rhododendron, which I got as a little baby this size, and it's got another new set of leaves coming. So we've now got 1, 2, 3, and hopefully with this one 4 tiers of leaves, which we only started off with 1 in the beginning a couple of years ago. So I'm very happy that that's liking its position there, and that's where it's going to stay. The new addition to the courtyard in this half whiskey barrel is a Cornus Cusa, and the name of it is John Slowcock. And it has the most beautiful big flowers, the size of my hand, white star-shaped flowers. Really lovely. They've just finished, they've just gone over, and hopefully next year we'll get a very happy Cornus Cusa doing a lovely flower display again. Scooter is sunbathing, basking in the sun. The pot here, we have a crinodendron hook, which is a miniature crinodendron, and it's got these beautiful white lantern-shaped flowers. And it has a lot of flowers on it this year. It didn't have so many last year. And here, the star of the show here in the courtyard has to be this cornice with its beautiful fuchsia pink flowers. It's absolutely stunning, and it puts on this display every year without fail, and I just adore it. Okay, so in this bed we've got some Persicaria Red Devil, which is a lovely contrast to the green from the Japanese anemone. So we'll have some very tall, lovely pale pink flowers from that later. The Persicaria flowers, little very pale pink, almost white flowers. Next to that, we've got a lovely tree rhododendron called the Antony Boulevant. And I just love its gnarly stems that go all woody and peely and cracky and lovely. And it puts on a beautiful display of flowers maybe next month in July. Some weeds that I pulled out earlier, and this is sweet itch, and the horsey up the lane, Chance, he loves sweet itch, so I've saved them for him for later for our walk. This is one of the window boxes that I did in a video recently, and it's coming on really well, and it seems to be filling out nicely and flowering. We've got some nice lavender here in the pots, and then I've just gathered a little collection of old terracotta clay pots here that have got aged with the weather, and some moss and algae and all the rest. Another little project which I have to complete is my ladybirds welcome sign. As you can see, it's got no ladybirds on there, and that's because I don't know if some creature decided to take them off or whether they just fell off. But anyway, my dear friend Anne in Screen, she painted me some ladybirds, so we will be able to replenish the sign with the ladybirds. That's a little project for later on. Inspired by my recent visit to the Botanic Gardens in Belfast, I decided I'd love to recreate a tiny little bit of that here in the courtyard, and so I did. So I bought this lovely planter. It's actually a lantern holder, but I turned it into a planter, and I've got in there a really nice cactus, and I've got a lovely orchid. And the lid lifts off like so, and I'll just show you the lovely cactus that I've got planted if it doesn't stab me. Isn't that beautiful? Very pretty flowers. And that's my little bit of botanic gardening here in Heathfield. Okay, so that's our tour of the little courtyard garden here. Let's head inside now, where we're going to make that deconstructed banoffee pie. It is delicious, and it's so easy. It's absolutely unbelievable for when guests unexpectedly say they're coming and you've got nothing except a few ingredients in the store cupboard. So yes, we'll get on with that, and hopefully you can join in and make some as well and enjoy it as much as we do. Okay, you guys, it's time for that delicious deconstructed banoffee pie. My guests are coming in about 2 hours, and I have to get showered and changed and everything. So I'm just in from the garden. I've washed up the hands, I've scrubbed up well, and I'm going to quickly put this dessert together. It literally will take 5 minutes. So what we have in a bowl here is we have some double cream, which we're going to whip. We have a banana, and we have a packet of Biscoff biscuits. We have 6 Cadburys buttons, or you could use grated chocolate or a flake or anything of your choice, or you don't have to put anything. You can just put a mint leaf on the top, and a tin of Nestlé Carnation already caramelized caramel. So remember, this is super quick and easy because my guests have surprised me that they're coming. 6 beautiful cocktail glasses I've got here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my biscuit base prepared. And literally all you have to do with that is you need to pop your biscuits into a food bag. Okay, and we're going to do this by eye. There's no exact measurements, but I think probably 3 biscuits per person. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and you can use digestive biscuits, you can use plain rich tea biscuits, whatever biscuits you have in the store cupboard, because remember, this was a store cupboard gift to us because we didn't know that these people were arriving, so we didn't get to go and do any shopping. Beat the living daylights out of them. Think of somebody you really don't like. Maybe somebody in the office. Maybe your husband. Maybe your children. Whoever it may be. And you want to mash them up into a crumb. You don't want them to be completely fine. You still like to have that little bit of textured crunch in there. So just make sure there's no big broken bits. Okay, very simply what you're going to do is you're going to spoon that into your glasses. So I'm going to use my spoon here and I'm going to spoon it into my glasses. Okay, and I think that should be enough to give a nice textured crumb at the bottom. Okay, so that's the biscuit done. And then you literally just want to press it down slightly into the base of the glass. You don't need to add butter or anything, because remember, these biscuits would have plenty of butter in them, or whatever biscuit you choose to use. So you literally just want to create that nice biscuit base. And there is some biscuit left over, and we'll use that for putting throughout a couple of layers. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to whip our cream. Okay. Okay, so our cream is whipped. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set that aside, and we're going to put a spoonful of our caramel on top of each of our biscuit bases. So you just want to drop a teaspoon of caramel on there. Okay, this is not for the faint-hearted, this dessert. But I'll tell you the story behind this dessert. I went to Ardra in Donegal to visit the Glenveigh National Park, and I stayed in a little bed and breakfast with a lovely lady in a little cottage, a tiny little cottage in Ardra, where she told me that for COVID, whilst she was allowed to open quickly and close, she had to do something to generate money. So she did what she called a pop-up restaurant in the little cottage. And her kitchen, I swear to you, was 2 meters by 2 meters maximum. And she could create anything, a full Irish breakfast, everything from that little tiny kitchen. So I was in awe of her. But she was telling me about this little pop-up restaurant, so I was intrigued. And I started saying to her, what sort of things did you serve? And one of the things she told me she served, because she could prepare it in advance, so the dessert was done and out of the way. It didn't need fridge space, and she could get it all done and ready for her guests, was the deconstructed banoffee pie. And I thought, what a clever, clever idea. And absolutely tastes exactly the same as banoffee pie, but without the stress of having to prepare it hours in advance. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pop, I think 2 pieces of banana in each glass would be enough to tantalize their taste buds. Okay, and I've cut the banana slightly on an angle so you get more coverage from the banana. And no, if you don't like banana, you can't leave banana out of this dessert, so therefore don't make this dessert. Make something else. Okay, and Scooter can have the little bit of banana that's left because he loves banana. So the next thing we'll do is we'll get another little bit of our crumb and we'll sprinkle it over so you get different textures as you bite through. Just a little bit of crumb. Okay, and we're just going to layer this up. Now, folks, please tell me that you are enjoying this so easy, because that's exactly what it is. And now what we will do is we will put some cream. And although this is really rich, you can see the size of the glass. So actually, you're not going to overindulge, because it's not a huge amount going into each glass. But what is going in is lovely and rich and well worth it. And look at that, I whipped just the right amount of cream. Again, there's no science behind it. You just use your eye, and if you've got cream left over, you can use it for something else. We will have caramel left over, so we will use it for something else. That's not a problem. Okay, that's them done. A little bit more crumb. Just sprinkled over the top. Chris, are you excited to try one of these?
Oh yeah.
Scooter, are you excited to try one of these? Bark, Scooter, let us know. He's sleeping. And then finally, to top off, just a lovely little button, or, like I said, a sprig of mint, whatever you fancy, or some grated chocolate. Ta-da! And there, folks, we have it. We have the delectable, deconstructed banoffee pie in a beautiful cocktail glass, which you can manage to get ready in minutes. And your guests will be wowed by the texture and the flavor of what's in that glass. They will think it took you hours. And it took you okay. It's the cook's prerogative. I must try before I buy. Chris, I don't even want to talk. Here, Chris. We can't afford to have another one before the guests come, because we've got 4 guests and we've only got 5 left. And if one drops accidentally, we're done for. So here, come and try this. And it took you less than 5 minutes. So don't forget, folks, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. And from Nikolai, Chris and Scooter, au revoir, and we'll see you very soon for another video.